Hey there guys, so with the release of Fast and Furious 9 or F9, the Fast Saga, which isn't really a good name for the film, I decided to watch all the Fast and Furious films and rank them all. And I didn't really get into this franchise till I was on furlough this year, and it gave me a good chance to watch all the films. And yes, some films are better than others, but I will say the franchise didn't really know its identity till you get to like the 5th and 6th film of the franchise. And yeah, let's get started with number 10, which I consider to be like the weakest Fast and Furious film, but it's not a bad film. It's just not really my cup of tea. At number 10, and I'm going to get so much hate for this, and it's the one that started all, The Fast and the Furious. Now the film is okay. It's an enjoyable, simple, small movie, but it's so dated. I mean, at the beginning of the film there's this heist, and it's not money, it's not gold. It's basically VHS TVs, and today you couldn't give those out for free. And the film is basically Point Break but with cars, and if you compare it to the later installments in the franchise, it's just too small compared to these like juggernauts. At 9th place is Too Fast, Too Furious. This film is just ludicrous, and I'm not just saying that because Ludacris is in this film, but just like the first movie, it's dated, it doesn't hold up all that well, and I'm trying to understand what this film wants to be, whether it's a racing film or action crime film. My favourite thing to come out of this film, however, is that Tyrese Gibson's character is an actual main character, rather than in the later installments he's just a side character that the film kind of pokes fun out of him. But in this he has great chemistry with Paul Walker's character, and he's just at his best. At number 8 is Fast and Furious. Now I always consider this one to be a good step towards better films, and I liked how it tries to go back to what we loved about the first movie. However, the film tries to bite more than it can chew. It takes itself way too serious, and is trying to have all this mysteriousness to it and plot twist, and you're kind of saying to yourself, it's a Fast and Furious film at the end of the day. So at number 7 is the black sheep of the franchise, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Now the whole film is about the main character learning to drift, and I liked how you don't need to watch the previous films to appreciate this film, and I like the fact that the later installments don't ignore it, they do establish it, they do go back to it. And for a franchise that started off about street racing, this actually focuses on it. The issue is with the film, and I don't mind the main characters, but they're not as iconic like Paul Walker's character or Vin Diesel's character or Tyrese Gibson's character or Ludacris's character. At number 6 is Fate of the Furious. This is the one when they jumped the shark and should have just stopped at Fast and Furious 7. I mean, the film just suffers by not having Paul Walker in this franchise anymore, and having Vin Diesel as the bad guy sounds like a great idea, but the execution isn't that great because the rest of the team don't stand strong on their own without having one of those two iconic leads. And the action is great, but it's absolutely bonkers and unrealistic. And I know you're probably saying, oh, but the rest of the films, the action scenes are very unrealistic. But this one just takes it to a whole new level with like cars outrunning like submarine missiles. I mean, at the end of the day, this is such a fun, dumb film that you could just shut your brain off and have a good time. And it does set up the Hobbs Shaw film nicely. At number 5 is F9. Now, I know it's not a good film, but I don't think it's the worst in the franchise. Like a lot of people are saying, it's definitely the most goofiest film in the franchise and definitely the most unrealistic one, with like Vin Diesel's and Tyrese's characters taking on like 20 soldiers at once, sending cars into space, using magnets to their full potential. I mean, and Han coming back is just like scraping the barrel. And Vin Diesel's character is all about family, but he has a rivalry between his actual brother. I mean, I did appreciate what this film was going for, and I like the fact that we're going to the backstory of Vin Diesel's character. And just like Fate of the Furious, at the end of the day, it's fun, dumb, popcorn entertainment. At number 4 is the spin-off film Hobbs Shaw, and what I really like about this film is that it doesn't feel constrained for the rest of the franchise, so it can be as bombastic as possible. And it's so fun to watch Jason Statham's character and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's character banter with each other and seeing these guys in like ridiculous situations. And Vanessa Kirby has a really strong screen presence, but Idris Elba is such a great villain. He stands strong toe to toe with Jason Statham and The Rock. At 3rd place is Fast and Furious 6. Now this is when the franchise was at its peak and it knew what it was. Every action scene in this film is memorable, especially the one with the tank. And sometimes when characters come back from the dead, I find it to be such a cheap move. But in this, when Letty came back and she has amnesia and she works for the bad guys, that was one of my favourite parts of the film. And Owen Shaw is such an underrated villain in the franchise. And I like the fact he has his own team, but it's very parallel to Dom's team. And number 2 is Furious 7. Now, it took everything what I loved about Fast 5 and 6, but also it becomes a respectful and satisfying send-off to Paul Walker's character. And you could tell they had to rewrite what happened to Paul Walker. Now, the action scenes are great, and I know they're very unrealistic, but you believe just maybe it could work in reality, like cars parachuting or cars driving from one skyscraper to another. And I like the fact that the third act goes back to LA where the first movie started off. And James Wan gave the film a distinct flavour compared to what the other films have. And Jason Statham is a great villain. He's the best villain in the franchise. I mean, it just ticks all the boxes. The only thing that really lets the film down is the story. It starts off as this revenge story, but then it becomes something else. So my favourite film in the franchise is Fast and Furious 5, and a lot of people would agree with me. It took all the best characters from the previous films and made them a team, and because of that, it's such a great all-rounded film. And having The Rock in this film is one of the best decisions that the franchise made. And Rio is such a gorgeous location, and most of this film takes place in Rio. And it just makes the action scenes pop out. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Go like, share and subscribe. Let me know, where would you rank all the Fast and Furious films? Go check out my Facebook, my Twitter and my Instagram page. You guys are awesome. I got your back.